biblical curses. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like when animancers fight.
Brought that playground down by myself.
Ah, the Emperor's envoy. Inquisitor Ludwig said you might be heading this way. Captain Alfair of the Steel Garrote. If you're here to speak with Vidaro, I'm afraid you'll find the governor is quite beyond reason. These Valians and their love of animancy. While they theorize and do nothing, the sickness spreads. But worry not, envoy. The Steel Garrote will be ready to ensure the safety of Adirian interests when the time comes. We all have our part to play, envoy. Until later.
She's as subtle as a broadside. Does subtle mean something different outside of Solace?
With old Nuna. I have a theory that her longevity. Oh, those poor souls. Please bring them peace.
Can I Welcome to Poria in Velino, the finest legitimate apothecary of Emerald. 5 summers ago, business was thriving. But now charlatans are selling crystals and essence enlargers in the streets. Add rumors of Dream Scourge and everyone is buying from these swindlers. At least you've come in. Oh, I could, easily. But in the long run, where would that get me? I would be no better than them. I used to believe animancers would trust science, but I'm beginning to doubt that. At least I don't have to convince you. All ingredients are fully stocked.
What else to get? What else to get?
Genuine healing case. Purest in all of the earth.
Oh, you startled me. This old woman can get lost. You must be the Adirian envoy I've been hearing about. Apologies for any hardships you may have experienced. The failing crops, the I was calling on the spirits of the recently dead to follow the guidance of Bareth, god of death. The dead of Fjord expect certain rituals to be carried out. I have failed to perform those rituals. That's exactly it! Well done! I have always observed it, and I brought it with me when I came to Fjord. Our recent dead require a final meal to ease their passage from life. Without it, they can't rejoin the cycle.
You've got people waiting in line for their next meal, and you want to waste food on the dead?
I got food from the grain merchant stores. I just need someone to leave it at the graves. The dead will take it from there.
Flesh and bone, they bring the fruit to those who cannot eat. What tree calls for its branches to endure these rituals?
The ritual heals all. The spirits get one more taste of life, and the living get to offer. You must take these offerings of food and place them at 3 grave sites where the recently dead lay. The first offering goes to a cliffside grave on the southern coast. The second offering, the final offering, that is the least I can.
Jata, what's the meaning of this?
Look at these crops. Look at your city. The Dream Scourge is laying waste to our home.
There is no Dream Scourge in Emerald Stair.
The land begs to differ, and I can prove it.
We can discuss this in private.
We are discussing it now. How can you ignore what's right in front of you? The Dream Scourge is here, in the soil, and it's killing us. Oh, my goodness. Are you a godlike? In that case, you're right on time.
Maybe you can talk some sense into our governor. Put the fear of the gods in him.
Seems more likely you'll have to punch some sense into him.
Excuse me, but unless you have official business, I'll thank you not to involve yourself in our private discussion. Very well. I hope you remember that behind these walls, your influence has limits.
I'm sure he didn't come all this way just to challenge your authority. As you can see, I was just proving a point to our esteemed governor.
A cart full of spoiled vegetables. You call that a point?
Emerald Stair used to be a lush garden for miles around, and now I don't even recognize it. First came the invasive species, roots and mycelium growing overnight, as though nature itself had gone mad. The Dream Scourge has twisted our lands, our wildlife, and now, our farms.
Salut les gens, bonjour, bienvenue sur le live.
Then there's no time to waste arguing with bureaucrats.
We definitely agree on that.
I believe that we can restore the land, bring back its soul and its sanity, cut off the dream scourge at the root. Our gov-
They do. And that's the kind of reckless behavior I'm trying to avoid.
Reckless is all we have time for. Before we can deal with the Dream Scourge, we first need to understand it. Unfortunately, new experiments have to go through him.
Must be nice that all the arguing isn't about you, for once.
I'm just trying to stop Chiata from hurting herself. Animancy is dangerous when you're shooting in the dark. I see you're unfamiliar with animancy. You don't appreciate just how dangerous that could be. Are you going to tell him about your family's basement? Or should I?
Dare you use that against me?
I know it was an accident, but look what it cost you. We can't let it happen again.
While we argue among ourselves, the dreams... Really? Unexpected from an Adiran. But how could I refuse an offer like that? Well, Governor, looks like I'm taking some time away from my duties. I'll trouble you no more.
Your request is denied, Chiata.
I wasn't asking.
Your responsibilities are to the settlement. Turning away from them sets a precedent that I cannot allow.
Everything I have proposed has been for Fior, and you still refuse to cooperate. Under the circumstances, I don't have much of a choice.
Then neither do I. Chiata Castel, from this day forth, you are banished from Fior Messiverno.
Banished?
What?
Ignacy, we can't lose our brightest animancer in the middle of a crisis.
Your pupil has gone too far, Quilici. Take her and leave. You're still a guest in my town, but to us, Chiata is an outcast.
It's a bit too soon to tell.
Governor, this is unacceptable. Your father would have kept this community together at any cost.
Don't bother, old man. He isn't his father. I've done all I can for Fior Messiverno. But you haven't even tried. Now limp back to your giant house like a good... We should talk somewhere private. Meet me at my house, do...
Another mouthful feed. Maybe we'll need to let Kai hunt more after all.
That did not go as I had planned.
What did you think would happen when you confronted him so?
Well, my first idea was to mess up his house. Maybe break a window or two.
Perhaps I should thank you for showing restraint.
I'm sorry you had to see that. What an asshole.
Giata, some manners, if you please.
I thought she was being polite.
We're on the verge of extinction, but our governor is too busy protecting his fragile ego. What does he know? He isn't even an animancer.
You did challenge his authority.
I know, but... curses. Without Fior Misiverno, I'm hardly even an animancer. My tools, the workshop, all gone. We'll have fewer resources to work with, but anything's possible. At least now I'm free to study whatever I want, on my terms. The Dream Scourge has been a thorn in my side for too long. A good question with a good answer. For now, I shouldn't bother you with the details. I have plans for this island, and they don't involve the Dream Scourge. But that's a story for another day.
Your parents would be proud to see such tenacity.
Anyway, listen to us babble. Let's talk about you. I never expected to see an Adiran envoy here. It's not for the faint of heart. That our first order of business is the Dream Scourge, but I'm also curious about you. There aren't many godlike left these days. Indeed. Some of my colleagues would fight me for the opportunity to study you. I only bring it up because Anamancy might offer... While I pack up my belongings, you can help me by... No, sorry. I don't know what came up. I just realized this is the end.
You may not see it from this vantage, my dear, but you have outgrown these walls. I always knew this day would come, just as I knew how much it would pain you. Please, just leave. That's all I ask.
Quilici, I will make you proud. I promise.
Once again, you missed the point. You have made me proud, Giada.
Thank you. I'm ready. Well, not ready. We have a few loose ends to tie up first. When it comes to the Dream Scourge, today that... Glad to hear it. Your Manto Pastor is in the workshop due west. He's got an invention that can help us. Elia Rossell is an authority on the undead. Her methods are controversial, but useful. She lives in a cottage southeast of town. And then there's Yvette and Remy. Each of them owes me a favor. I'd rather not speculate until we have more data. If you have questions, I'm sure the others... We're about to make history. But first, research.
Godlike, Imperial envoy, research assistant. Who knew?
Careful! We'll get thrown out of the pub! We're already Really? You ever think, what if I wasn't a ranger? Or what would you do? Ado! Found the machine. The Adra is healthy. It's the essence I'm concerned about.
This again.
You're beginning to sound like Giata.
Have you ever stopped and listened? She might be onto something.
I'm sure her mother and father are onto something, and look what happened to them.
I have to do something. I can't let anyone else discover this.
Oh, I heard there was a new arrival, but I didn't expect a godlike. Welcome. More than most, but less than I would like. Unfortunately, I cannot do a lick of research while my equipment is underpowered and overworked. A novel idea, that. What I need is a stronger power source. Grimoires can hold intense power, but not for long. Besides, grimoires require a wizard to draw in essence. It's too dangerous at this scale. Oh, wait. One of our rangers reported that an Adragon recently... Indeed, but that well is almost dry. I need more. An Adragon's heart can hold an immense amount of essence. The grove is to the west, across the chasm. You may be able to... So you can... Still. Do be careful.
Well, let's go. That Adragon's heart isn't gonna yank itself out.
Ado!
Welcome to my fine establishment, amigo. Well, I was not expecting such an esteemed guest in my humble home. Is that Gelarde? This is star metal. Nay, don't tell me. I'd be tempted to go looking for some more, and that would... Ah, no. Unfortunately, I don't know how to work. I did receive a ship. I suggest you make your way there if you were looking for...
Galloway's tusks? Come on, it can't be that complicated.
I bet.
And I'll take your money eventually.
Is there anything else I can help you? Nay, not really. Under... official... I have one. Welcome to my fine establishment, amigo.
Oh, it's you.
You don't think the Claviger died alone in the strangle route? Why?
Listen, Kai, I need you to stalk like a cat, not stomp around like a Balrog. My... training was a lot bigger on stomping than stalking, unfortunately.
Right. And I got cooking lessons in Solace. But
You know, I've heard dueling is popular in the Valian republics. You wouldn't think a public argument could feel as brutal, but I'll be damned if Giada didn't draw blood. No doubt. That's why I admire the result. Living Landers can be contrarian and combative. That's what sends a lot of us here in the first place. But it's still hard to swim against the tide with your own people, especially when it means getting them to face a hard truth. You seem to have turned out okay. And she knows who she is and what she believes. She's got more clarity and conviction than I had at her age.
she has more clarity than you have now.
Hey, I am a willing victim of my own delusions.
Sometimes that just makes it...
Hey, don't worry. What?
Right. Like, what?
Anyway, this can't be an easy time for Giada, but I'm glad to have...
Envoy? Well, that was interesting, right? The woman arguing about the crops failing? Of course, my method would have been run away under the cover of night, never to return, but yeah, this works for her. I don't know. In my experience, it's always the snake you don't see that bites you. Anyway, there's clearly more going on here than a bunch of ant... Beyond that, nah, I can't help you. Call me when you're back to facing... Right, changing this up. Ask who... Right. Thanks for talking.
The Adra stirs, a crackle of light in a withered field. We had not considered this. Mundane, a lifetime lived in silence. We forget we wiltly gnaw with hunger now. What has come of this place? Skin of the teeth, the flesh starves, but the soul is resolute. We feel them. They bend and hone the essence of the earth, They draw from... What are these rituals? Eons have passed. A harvest grows. The dead rise. What do they hope to achieve? Set what has been broke. They build walls in their hearts. Why do they not share what they make? The hound cannot recognize itself. It growls at its own reflection. Should we fear it too? Fire that burns the forest feeds the soil with its ash. We have learned much. Dream of soaring.
More of this stuff. Has anyone figured out how to get rid of it?
Not bad, Marius.
Envoy, a pleasure as always. Giata Castel wants my professional opinion. What an honor. I have to ask, is it true? Did Vidaro kick her out of town? That's our governor for you. Self-righteous even in his own ignorance. Very well. I'll tell you what I know about the dreams. I'm up to my ears in chores around here, and the Revenants can only do so. They can't do complicated tasks, you see. Anyway, I'm afraid the time has come to put down poor Silvo. Silvo is one of my Revenants. My oldest, my favorite, and someone needs to put the poor fellow out to pasture. And...
well, it's already dead. That's the hard part done.
when a revenant goes bad, there's only one option. Silvo is on a strict diet, but I suppose he could have gotten into... You never know. Thank you for understanding. You can find Silvo in the barn. Just be gentle.
So, we're killing a revenant then? She just couldn't come out and say that?
And this is why I don't take pets.
Sealmas Mito. Within Roth. Sealmas Mitum. Egworth and Roth.
Glad that's over.
My farmhands are very affectionate. Feel free to pet them if you... Poor Silvo. He was a bright young revenant, but a very old man. So, the Dream Scourge. But I believe whatever causes it is older by far. Maybe the exotic plants and animals, the twisted landscape, the Dream Scourge. There's something about the essence in the living lands that's different from... And end up like Giata. No, thank you. Not to get too superstitious, but in these troubled times, toward what end? Well, you and Giata are going to...
Oh, and thank you for the nightmare fuel. I really have been sleeping entirely too well lately.
I'm remembering why people find this place unsettling.
The great mystery is, are godlike blessed or cursed? Gods are silent on this question.
Remy, look what I found. A genuine godlike.
Do you think they can hear us?
Remy, take a note. Fluent speech and upright posture show marks of sophistication in the endangered godlike. We heard that Giada partnered up with an outsider, but I had no idea you were a god.
I suppose we owe her a favor.
Giata must have sent you to be our test subject. She knows how to satisfy our curiosity and we'll give you everything Giata needs to... We want to know about the godlike, of course. You're the first one we...
Let's begin the examination. If you could choose, next time you go round the wheel, you might not get so lucky. Tired of being remarkable?
My turn. Some would call you blessed. Others would call you cursed. The fact remains, you were touched by the gods. Wouldn't you say that you owe something to the rest of us? So, you believe we need your...
Oh, I thought of another. We all know that godlike can't reproduce. How do you plan on... Very optimistic. I think that covers it.
So, Giata wants to know all about it. Do you want the good...
The Dream Scourge is proof that an unprecedented metaphysical disaster can take place.
Oh, that's a load off my mind. Sure beats not constantly worrying about...
How's that good news?
Giata will be interested to learn that the Dream Scourge cannot just be studied in a lab. Its nature is wild, so it has to be studied in the wild.
And like anything affecting the soul, thus if she wishes...
Precisely. A god...
Indeed. Just as...
Not that we'd ever be interested. An entity, you say? If this entity is your patron, that's all perfectly natural. But if it's something else, with enough essence and a capable animancer, perhaps you could trace this tether back to its source.
Right, and with a little fresh sake, you can follow an ogre back to its lair. Still wouldn't recommend.
Just be careful that you're...
Now that we've researched the mind of a godlike, the next...
Hurry, before they change their minds.
Ugh, I might have dozed off there for a bit. Were any of those words the...
I own...
Ice is a bit steep.
Rejuvenate and revitalize your personal essence.
Rumor has it there's no life
Even if we want to stop them.
Good. You finally showed up. The name's Keeledge. Pleasure to meet. Not so loud. Hilgard sent me to Emerald Stair to keep an eye on this place. I had orders to make contact as soon as you arrived. I won't talk long. He only wants me to let you know I'm here. If you need to get word to the ambassador, I'm your man. Besides you and me, no one that I know of. No one working for Heelguard, anyway. But I can tell you that even if Inquisitor Ludwine isn't here, her nightmare squad, between you and me, I think they're up to something. Something big and bad. I've got a bad feeling about this. I think the scale of their operation is... All right. Exactly how far do... Until late...
Take him that shot. Take him down. Nice job, everyone.
seems like...
I don't understand. If we want...
Oh boy.
Interesting to me, at least.
My colleague is an optimist. We have none to speak of. But all we've done... She's been saying...
Come on, Alva.
I suppose
We can do better.
The local fauna had their way with this one. Here's another. I'd wager we're on the path to something.
Let's say the Revenants were hiding in that lake. Could be wrong.
Egworth and Roth! And Roth!
I think I sprained my shoulder.
Is someone out there? Hello? Please, I need... You're the... I've spotted a number of your... I was attacked by cloaked fighters. And I don't go around attacking armed groups when I'm outnumbered 10. I don't need your help, Envoy. Neither does Fjord. Fine. Sorry. Thank you. This should at least get me. Thank you, Envoy. It's possible I met the one good adherent.
Good fight.
Show me what you got!
And Roth! And Roth! Egworth and Roth! And Roth!
Revenants are definitely coming this way.
Worth and Roth!
Let's go. Left leg.
And Roth!
Take a moment, people. Oh no, no!
And Roth!
Weak here.
High ground. The ruins' natural defenses. Good place to post up.
There's simply not enough. I hope the hunters come back soon.
Small. Vertical advantage. Like a crow's nest. These rangers know their stuff.
Bob. I knew I left my rations in the tent before patrol, and now they're gone. I was looking forward to those rations, too.
Well, I was certainly not expecting such a distinguished guest at my humble outpost here. Some heads up would have been nice. And my rangers just let you up. Typical. Well, you're here now. Can I help you? Besides the ruthless... No.
Give me a moment.
We have been here before. Do distant winds breathe soft across your skin too? Flesh in the soil, worms in the flesh. A splash of hot blood seeps into the loam. Now, our memory is a wound, reopened. It didn't have to die. Twin stars fall through night and collide beside the sea. Nekad and Enhekala. The arc of one bright light obliterates the other. You are Enhekala, a Tabaru Sinakis. You speak for the garden, and for us, the gardener. You have not seen Nekad for 10 years on the day you come to blows. Which memory of him is true? Things were good between you for a time. But who was Nekad to us in Hekala? Help us to remember. Nekad, your stalwart protector. Before the elders came to take you from each other, he defended you against the world. He would hurt anyone for you. Even the Tabaru Sinakis, who was to be your mentor. Nekad nearly beat him into the dust. Did you feel safe with him? You learned self-determination from him. He taught us, too. What did Nekad learn from us? You should both have been afraid. There was a disaster. In a temper, we did something terrible. It was why you built it. Naku Tedek. But in Hekala, what did we do? Fire took a village with it. We recall a shard of memory. We looked with horror upon. How could you bear to speak to us? Your pride only shamed us more. After the crisis passed, the people, did the dead forever wander the nothing of the in-between? You proposed an easy road for their souls to travel on. Naku Tede. soil to seed to fruit. Yet Nagad, your brother, opposed Nakutedek's construction with his every breath, and how could he despise your mission? We do not remember why. Preserving the old, your brother Nikad was a story keeper, and our people's stories say that your souls are wild things. Your souls leave your bodies and run free across the land to enter death, and so it has been. And so Nikad believed it should all. Legacy. Memory. What is we remember now? When he finally saw Nakutedek and understood what you had built, what did Nikad do? Members of your order had come to celebrate your work. In front of them, he begged to know why you stole. His tears shone. He did not wait for you to end. The torchlight flickered on the steel. He held. What did you do, and Hekala, when your brother threatened your life? We remember. Steel on steel. A spurt of blood. He shuddered. He could not catch his breath. One more thing in Hekala. He planted a tree near Nakutedek to remember you by. As it grew, we learned that we should not pass judgment. We twine together. We...
Welcome back!
In case... Diverus? If only we could find a way to go...
Perfetto.